Hi, my name is Jeff Hunt, and in this short video I'm going to introduce you to an online business opportunity that could be a game changer for those of you who are looking to get some returns out of the online space. If you are new, if you have no experience whatsoever in the online world, this could potentially be exactly for you. Just listen on. If you're experienced, if you've tried some things online, maybe you've made $1, maybe you've made nothing at all, but you've been struggling and you've sensed that it isn't that easy, this could also be for you. If you are an investor and you're looking for higher than normal returns on your investments, this could be for you. Maybe you're looking to buy assets in the online world, or maybe you're looking for pure cash flow as an investor. This could be for you. If you are a business operator, a small business operator, you've been in the offline world, you've had some success, you understand business principles in general, but this whole online world is attractive to you because it's flexible, you can work from home, the ROIs are high. This could also be for you. You see, many online methods, and in fact, most people who attempt to make money online fail. You've seen the statistics for normal businesses. In general, very few businesses actually survive more than 5 years. And unfortunately, I have to tell you that the statistics for online businesses are even worse than that. And if you look at the methods that are employed, like blogging, thousands and thousands, in fact, hundreds of thousands of people attempt to make money blogging, but only a very small percentage actually have any amount of success in that area. Or even other methods that are a little bit higher probability kinds of methods like direct email marketing. Of course, some people are tremendously successful with direct email marketing online. But if you look at the percentage of people who try it and actually succeed, that number is also very small. So we're going to be talking about website investing, and I'll show you how website investing focuses on the success. We don't go after these methodologies that have not been proven. We go after businesses that already exist, already have cash flow, and have proven themselves. So we cut out a lot of the failure rate simply because we focus on something that's already working, that's already successful from the very beginning. Now, a little bit about my story. I needed that kind of success. You see, in my past life, I worked for IBM. I had a big job. I managed organizations with highly skilled people, large-scale budgets, 25 million a year, and I was doing very well. And there came a point in my life that I was thinking more about real life than just simply business and making money. And so my family and I moved overseas, and we worked in a Western Asian country serving students, serving small businesses. For about 7 years, we learned a crazy language. We had a great time there, but we were making very, very little money. And there came a point when we needed to come back to the United States, and I needed an income. And I couldn't afford to mess around with high failure rate, low probability of success methods, but I love this online idea. I love the idea of being able to work from home and continue to spend time with my family, have the flexibility of going overseas when I wanted to return, but still have a good return on my investment. And for me, what that boiled down to was website investing. I started buying into websites that were already successful. Now, I was interested in a successful business, a non-corporate business, and to me, a successful business was simply 3 things. One is an operation of some kind that generated monthly consistent income, that had customers, which for a website is actually just traffic to a website business, and had a process for delivering some kind of value to those customers. That's a business. I was looking for a successful business, didn't have time to start it from scratch, because you see, when you start anything from scratch, you have to have a lot of skills. And you need to be a website designer, you maybe need to be a graphics designer, you need to be a marketer, you need to sometimes be a product creator, you need to have SEO skills, which means search engine optimization, to attract traffic to your website, and many other hats. And not only do you have to do those things, to be able to do those things, but now in the competitive world we're living in, people don't accept low quality, so you have to be able to do those roles and do them very well. And so starting from scratch is not that simple, no matter what people tell you, and people tell you a lot of things in this business if you've done any research at all. So whereas all of those things sounded interesting to me and potentially I could learn how to do all of those things, I didn't really want to have to become an expert in those things. So buying into a business that existed was a lot faster, okay? I could get those things done for me by buying a business that already had a product, already had a design, already had a presence, and most importantly, already had traffic, customers coming to the site, spending their money in some way, generating income. And so it was fast, but it was easy because I didn't have to become all of those things. I didn't have to become an expert in all of those areas that it takes to actually build the site out from scratch. So it was fast, it was easy, and maybe the most important thing is it reduced my risk significantly. Why is it less risky than starting from scratch? Well, obviously, when you start anything from scratch, whether it's an online business or an offline business, you don't know for certain that you're even going to generate a single dollar from the business. You just don't know that. I mean, maybe if you do certain things, there's some probability that you're going to be successful, but you don't know for sure. So when we buy a business that's already existing, that already has an income statement that shows income over a certain period of time, unless there's some act of God that makes the business go south when I buy it. If it made $1,000 last month, it's probably going to make $1,000 this month. So I've already eliminated a substantial percentage of the potential risk, and I certainly have saved the time. I've certainly saved the mental and emotional energy for having not started from scratch. Now, of course, when we buy something, it may not be ideal. It's not going to be exactly the way we would have built it had we started from scratch potentially. But it's going to be something that's working that we can adjust and make into our own, and we can focus, instead of focusing on all of the fundamentals and gathering every single customer, every single visitor and attracting them to our site, we can instead focus on enhancing portions of the business one at a time. We can focus our learning energy towards learning how to improve the conversion rate or make more money from that one customer or whatever the challenge might be on that website, but we haven't had to go through the process of creating the whole darn thing from scratch and carrying the risk that maybe this thing would never generate a single dollar. So what I'm offering here is actually a transformation. It's from someone who doesn't know anything about online business, or perhaps does but isn't successful, into a successful online business owner. Or perhaps you're an offline business owner, and I'm going to show you in this material how to become an online business owner as well. So it's a slightly different identity, but it's more than just an identity of being an online business owner. It's actually the cash flow that comes with it, because ultimately that's why we're in business, to generate cash flow. Now let me address what's a very common question at this point, and if you're a business person, you should be thinking in this direction, and that is, how much does it cost to buy an online business? Well, in the last couple of years, I've bought some very, very inexpensive businesses, like $100 that made $20 a month, got my money back in 4 or 5 months, very successful, another $400 business. But of course, typically I like to buy a lot bigger websites because I don't have time to manage 100 websites producing $100 a month. I'd much rather manage something a little bit larger so I could focus my energies more directly. But the point is, no one is disqualified by not having enough money. Because you can buy at the very low end, or you can buy at a very large end, and you can do that in keeping with whatever your objectives are. If you want to pour all of your energies into running an online business, seeing the returns that come from that, having something stable that goes well out into the future, then you're going to invest more, you're going to have more success buying large, buying single. If you want to just get educated and start on the small end, you can do that as well. Now let me address another question that may be in your mind, and that is, what if I have no experience? What if I have absolutely no knowledge of the internet or internet business or online business at all? Well, the beauty about this approach of buying something that's already working is it's kind of like on-the-job training. You buy a website that already has a process, already has customers, already has traffic, and you can learn from something that is working, which I assure you is a lot better than starting from scratch, knowing nothing, and then trying to research all the things that you need to research to actually get those customers in. It's much easier to incrementally improve something that's already working and learn from what's working than it is to learn kind of from scratch, because you don't even you're not even able to prioritize. You don't even know what the most important thing is to learn first. Whereas if you have a business, you can kind of take a look at it and say, oh, it's weak in this area. I better learn something about that and make an adjustment there. And of course, the key thing that you'll need to learn when you're doing that is, well, how do I pick the right business to buy? And I'm going to talk about that in just a little bit later. But I made this transformation. I made the transformation from someone, although I was in kind of the technical industry in IBM, I knew absolutely nothing about websites before I got into buying websites online. But I've made that transformation. I've written about it. I've blogged about it. I represent one of the biggest marketplaces who sells and buys websites. And I've developed this portfolio of my own that I've actually purchased more than 300 websites, some in groups of websites, some individual websites, and I bought them and sold them and kind of consolidating my position. But I've generated lots of expertise over time, but expertise is just kind of another word for making mistakes, figuring out what didn't work, what did work. And I've started to pour my knowledge into what you're going to see below into this course. And so the answer is, can you start with limited knowledge? Absolutely you can. In fact, I believe that the best way to get knowledge about the online industry is to do exactly this, to start looking at how websites are working, procuring them, either big one, small one, investing a lot of your time or a little bit of your time. So this is actually not a bad place to start if you're just looking at getting into the online space, if you're attracted by those margins and the ROI that come with it. Now, all of that is the good news. And let's get into the not so good news. You remember I said that we reduce and eliminate a lot of risk by buying into something that's already working. Well, that's absolutely true, but of course it can be risky if we buy the wrong thing. We don't want to buy a website that's going to fail, and we don't want to be scammed by a seller who's offering something that may not be what he says it is. So the key piece of risk that remains is that we buy the wrong thing, and that's really what all of this is about. That's why I'm giving you this explanation. There are the benefits of big returns and a kind of ease of entry and a lot lower cost to buy into a website than to buy into an offline business by far. I mean, you don't have to have $1.5 million in net worth and $500,000 of free capital like you would to buy a Taco Bell. You can buy into a website for almost nothing and have probably a higher level of success if you buy the right thing, and that's the key. And so that's why I put this material together to help you through the process of buying the right thing. First of all, we answer questions, the most basic questions of where do you find an online business to buy? And we go through that, where you can find them, where you can find lower cost websites to buy. And then we move into how do you evaluate, once you've kind of figured out one that you're interested in buying, well, how do you evaluate it? How do you make sure that it is what the seller says it is? That the financials are okay, that the traffic is okay, that the website itself is okay from all the perspectives that matter, the user experience, the product itself, the process. So how do you evaluate those things just to make sure that you understand what it is you're buying and that you're buying a good deal? So this is what I'm going to teach you in the course that you see below. Where to find it, how to evaluate it, and then how do you go through that process. Obviously, if you've never bought a website before, you may be apprehensive about, well, what's the process like? How do I give money to someone for the site? How do they give it over to me? And then what does it actually look like to run it? Because I have absolutely no clue. Well, guess what? It's not actually that difficult, and there are mechanisms in place to just protect you from losing your money or getting it taken away, but you need to know what those are. And so we go through that in this course. And then after you've become the owner of this new website and money is coming in, then what do you do from there? How do you make even more money? And of course, this is kind of the secret sauce, is how do we find websites to buy that we can just make a few tweaks at the front end right after we've purchased it, we've become the new owner, we kind of see how it's working today. What are the little tweaks we can make to really ramp up the income very quickly, go from whatever we are today to plus 10% and plus 30% or plus 50%. And there are a lot of things that we can do. You know, the great thing about these websites that are digital, that don't have physical assets, you can make little tweaks here and there. We can move an ad from one place to another place on the website. We can add a revenue stream that wasn't there before. Maybe we were only doing ad revenues. Now we can do an affiliate revenue source very quickly. Or maybe we can change pricing tiers. We're just selling everything for $20, and now we're going to add a $15 and a $25 tier. And we can make some real simple changes like that, as long as we're making the right changes for the business that can increase our net income very quickly. But get this, not only are we increasing the net income of the business very quickly, but we're increasing the value of the business, because these businesses are valued on how much they're making every month. So if we increase the monthly income by 30%, we're also increasing the value of the entire business by 30%. And that's why a lot of people flip websites. They buy in, they see, hey, I can make this little tweak on the website and it's going to sell, 25% more. And therefore, and then they turn around, they make the little tweak, they let it run for a few months, then the business becomes worth 25% more because it's earning 25% more, and then they can flip it. I mean, that's not the kind of thing you can do easily with physical assets. You might get 25% more out of a house by renovating it, but you're going to throw in a lot of money to make those renovations. Whereas in the website world, we can change the color on a button sometimes and improve sales by 5, 7, 12% just by making that tiny little tweak that has virtually no cost. So, those are the kinds of things that attract people into the business, and those are the kind of things that you'll begin to learn about after you find the right thing to buy. You buy it, we walk you through the process of the transaction, and then you start making these little tweaks that very quickly increase the revenue of the business and the value of the business that you are the owner of. So if all that sounds good, if you want to have that kind of success, if you want to be an online business owner and a successful online business owner, not just kind of a struggling, well, let's try email marketing for a while, or let's try blogging for a while, or let's try, being an Amazon seller for a while. If you want to be someone who actually is successful in this role as an online business owner, then I highly recommend this. You need to look at this idea of buying into existing site. And you know what? There's something for everyone out there. I mean, whether you're into travel, whether you're into crafts, whether you're into selling physical products, whether you're into creating videos or digital products or graphics design, whether you like pets or whether you like boats or guns or whatever it might be, there's a niche. There are 1 billion active websites, and a large percentage of those are highly revenue generating websites. So there really is something for everyone. In fact, people come to me and they say, I'm thinking about starting a travel site. Well, I say, well, have you looked at buying a travel site? Because why should you start one from scratch and wait for a couple of years to develop an audience of a couple thousand people if you even are able to do that, when you could go out and look and find a travel site that already has an audience that's interested in travel, and then make it your own, kind of change the emphasis or add more content to the same site. There's something for everyone. There's a better approach than starting from scratch for almost everyone, almost every situation. And that approach is buying, investing in websites. So thank you very much for sticking with me through this video, and I encourage you to look at the details of the materials of what you're going to see in this course. And I encourage you also to think about it not only as education, but relationship. Because all of my clients, I have a personal relationship with them. If they reach out to me, I do my very best to be able to answer their questions directly. Of course, my time is not infinite, but that's part of it. In the business world, as you know, it's not just about numbers, it's not just about mechanics or operations, it's really about relationships. So part of what you get when you join this kind of small, tight-knit community of website buyers and sellers is you start to get some relationships with people, and you start to really learn. You're going to learn a lot more from the people that you engage with than you are just reading blog posts randomly across the web. So that's part of what you're going to get in this website investing course material, and I really look forward to it. I love to see people getting into the business. There's plenty of business for everyone. You know, you don't have to be worried that it's swamped or there's too many people involved. The returns are still really good, so that's your indicator that tells you that there's still a lot of opportunity. If the returns are still high like they are today, then that means there's lots of opportunity. When the margins get to be really, really thin, like you might find, you know, in the PC business or the television business or something like that, then yeah, maybe you need to look for a different niche. Right now, that's not website investing. Website investing still has enormous returns. In fact, the multiples are growing. So more and more people are buying, and more people are building or selling their websites or portions of their portfolio. So this is a good place to be. Just once again, thanks for watching, and I wish you well in this endeavor and whatever endeavor that you may engage in. And take a look below, and hopefully we'll see you on the other side.